Sharpton.
Grand bargain or grand illusion? Tonight, Washington may be getting closer to a deal on the deficit. But is it a deal worth having? Let's make sure it has shared sacrifice. And Congressman Allen West under fire for his attack. But he says he's not sorry. Plus, there's more to the story. The real impact migraine headaches may have had on Michelle Bachmann's job performance. And Rush Limbaugh, hot air, hits a new high. His latest attack on big government is our con job of the day. Welcome to the show. I'm Al Sharpton. Tonight's lead: are we closer to a deal or a disaster? President Obama and House Speaker John Boehner may be nearing a deal for a new grand bargain on debt limit. The president is meeting with Democrats right now at the White House, presumably to talk about the deal. But any agreement would have to get past the Tea Party Republicans in the House, and Democrats say they're the problem.
The loudest, shrillest voices from the Republican Party are not reasonable leaders, but Tea Party extremists.
This group of ideologues has grabbed the reins and are refusing to let go. It is the group who alone wants to drive the car off the cliff.
But now even Boehner is saying Republicans must compromise.
I believe that the Congress must act before August the 2nd, and I hope that we're prepared to do that. At the end of the day, we have a responsibility to act. If the United States of America's debt rating gets downgraded, every interest rate in America will go up.
Joining me now is Republican Congressman Tom Cole from Oklahoma. Congressman, first of all, thank you for your time tonight.
Thank you.
Let me ask you first, do you think, I mean, this is serious, this is beyond the politics and the screaming back and forward. We're 12 days out from the August 2nd deadline. Do you think the economy will suffer if the debt ceiling is not raised, sir?
Yeah, I actually do, Reverend Sharpton. I think this is a very serious time, and the United States has never failed to pay its bills in 235 years. If we were to fail now, I think that'd have really negative consequences for the economy.
Now, you heard Congressman Boehner, your speaker, the Speaker of the House, say that these consequences are grave, and you've heard everybody say, but there must be shared sacrifice. Why is it so difficult for people to come to an agreement on shared sacrifice, which means that it has to come from the upper income levels as well as the working poor, not just the working and the poor class? I mean, what is the problem with dealing with revenues as well as dealing with some of the entitlement programs?
I think we will deal with revenues eventually, but part of the problem here, as you'll recall, the president cut a deal in December of last year on taxes that was supposed to last for 2 years. It's pretty hard to come in July and change a deal that was supposed to not be looked at for another 18 months. Most of the problem we have is a spending problem. We know that even if the president got everything he asked for in tax increases, you'd still have to do 2/3 to 90% of this deal in terms of entitlement reform and spending reductions. We ought to focus on that part now. That's actually the toughest part to do. We've got an opportunity to make significant progress on that. The negotiations have put some things on the table that both sides agree ought to be cut. Seems to me we ought to get that done and then move on.
Yeah, but if you look at this as a pie, if you looked at what the tax cuts that President Bush put through, if you look at what just that part is, you're dealing with $424 billion. You're not trying to act like that's not a significant part of the deficit.
It's actually a very significant part. But remember, actually, President Obama, the Democrats accept 80% of the Bush tax cuts for 95% of the people. So they've actually sort of said, number one, most of these tax cuts weren't for the wealthy, and we've accepted them. There's no proposal to repeal all the Bush tax cuts that I've ever heard from any Democrat, certainly not from the president.
We certainly heard the president say that he would not extend the Bush tax cuts any further. But then if if it's no problem, then why is your side of the aisle? Why is the party balking then? Why are they backing up on tax cuts? Shared sacrifice is shared sacrifice.
We're not backing up a bit. Again, we've made our position abundantly clear. But again, the president agreed that all the Bush tax cuts should be extended for 2 years in December. That's 6 months ago.
The president said that he would extend the tax cuts to get the unemployment insurance. What I'm asking you, 12 days out, we can go back to December,
he didn't want to raise taxes.
Congressman, we can talk about December. We can talk about
a bad thing.
We can talk about December. We can talk about tonight. We're 12 days out. This country could default, and we need to be able to strike a balance here that would save the country. Your own speaker saying there's got to be some compromise. Is it that you can't get Tea Party members? Is it that you can't get some freshmen? I mean, let's look at a quote that you said yourself, sir. Maybe this is the problem. This is what you said in the LA Times. It's inconceivable. Some of the members who haven't been here don't appreciate how much John Boehner has gotten them. I mean, you seem like you're frustrated that some of your crowd is being inflexible. Let's be honest. We're too close to the edge here not to put it all on the table.
You either trust your negotiators or you don't. I trust John Boehner to negotiate a fair and good deal. He's yet to come back with a deal that he thinks is appropriate. And I do agree. He is a reasonable guy. He's a master negotiator. He is an excellent legislator. So let's give him a chance to do his job. But again, as he would be the first to tell you, he's never voted for a tax increase. He believes very strongly this is a spending problem and this is an entitlement reform problem. Those are the areas we ought to focus on. Nobody thinks you ought to be raising taxes in the middle of a down economy, and that's what we've got.
Well, nobody that I know thinks that to stop extending tax cuts is raising taxes. That's restoring taxes. But let me ask you something. You say that Speaker Boehner is reasonable. Are the Tea Party members reasonable? Many of them openly, even right on this show, has questioned his leadership. Are they unreasonable?
Well,
and will some of the senior members of the party and some that's been there a while like you stand up to them and defend a compromise here?
Look, I'll wait and see what the deal is when it comes back, but I've been supportive of the Speaker. I think he'll bring us back a good deal, and if he does, then I'll certainly be supporting it. In terms of those Tea Party members, they actually are getting a big victory here, and frankly, if they weren't here, it wouldn't be happening. This is the first debt ceiling I've ever seen where there's going to be spending cuts of some magnitude accompanying them, and I give both the President and I give particularly John Boehner credit for that, but the Tea Party wouldn't happen without the Tea Party members. And remember, when you say they don't have confidence in him, he was elected unanimously as the Republican leader. He had every Republican vote for Speaker. That's something, frankly, Leader Pelosi couldn't do in her own party in the same election. So I think our party's pretty united behind the Speaker. I think he'll bring us a deal, and then if it meets with the members, we'll be fine.
I'm glad you said all that, Congressman. Every night I learn something new from a Republican because you voted 3 times to raise the debt ceiling. And now you say this is the first time that is doing something. So it just makes me wonder why you voted before. Thank you, Congressman Tom
actually
Cole,
voted 5 times
Republican from Oklahoma. Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Joining me now is Independent Senator from Vermont, Bernie Sanders.